and now genre means nothing. Like who? I think it's just like if you start talking about genre, that's why I get frustrated with what we were just talking about. It's because I don't actually care. I don't really care at all about what genre a thing is. I just want to listen to what I want to listen to based on my mood and really just based on mood.
I think these days genre, I think it still matters in good ways, but I think it matters less in bad ways because, I mean, again, I remember along with a lot of these genre labels back in the day would also come cultural barriers with which like people were not likely to cross because I don't know or I don't understand or I don't care for whatever group of people or scene is attached to that, and I don't want to transition over to that in order to like this or understand it or get a hold of it. And now with just easier access to the internet, like all these kids are sort of seeing these different genres on a level playing field and listening to it and digesting it all almost like in an equal fashion, which I think makes these genre blends that you guys are sort of, ahead of the curve on, so much more likely today. It makes a poppy possible. It makes, also like a 100 gecs possible. I mean, which, they just did the remix of, that track with you guys. And I know there are a lot of, fans of their stuff in the chat today. Would you be able to go a little bit into what exactly like made that crossover happen?
Yeah. The gecs. I just kept seeing Dylan's
everywhere.
credit.
He just is everywhere.
The first time I noticed it was on a track, oh God, I'm really going to blank on the guy's name right now. Tony Velour. Do you hear that track?
I think we played it.
It was like, and he was listed as a collaborator. It was like by the two of them. And I'm like, who's this Dylan kid? And I loved that track. I thought it was so cool. And it was, for him, it was just the tip of the iceberg. It wasn't even one of his most like adventurous tracks, right? So then that was great because like once I figured out who he was, I found out about 100 gecs, then all of a sudden there was all this like really experimental material that was there waiting for me. And I eventually, when we started talking about doing some remixes by younger artists, newer artists of old Linkin Park stuff. Again, my initial reaction was like, it has to be just right, you guys. Like if you try and go out there and try and make a big, like pop dance remix album out of Hybrid Theory, I won't stand for it. That would be terrible. And the guy who was kind of heading it up at the label, he and I started talking music and really connected. Like it was like we were talking about Umru and we were talking about Kiro Bonito actually, which was a really weird one. Blood Orange and 100 gecs and like some just really interesting takes on the stuff. And some of it has worked out. Some of it is in conversation still. Some of it didn't work out. But that's, truth be told, that's like more what I listen to these days.
No, I mean, I think that's where a lot of, at least, just as somebody who's just following this stuff every day, that's like where a lot of the youth's focus and energy is going as far as like what's cutting edge and what's like actually bubbling up into something with a lot of momentum in the underground. That just sort of seems where a lot of the energy is right now in this bubblegum bass and this hyperpop stuff. That just sort of seems where a lot of it is. But simultaneously, it does seem like, as you mentioned, Poppy, there is sort of a revolution going on in some sections of the metal community. I mean, even Code Orange, for example, like I think a lot of their stuff is almost like the next logical step past like a lot of what Linkin Park was doing back in the day, because it's so digital and it's so heavy and it's so glitchy and it feels like really propulsive and massive and muscular like a metalcore album should be, but simultaneously it's so Fear Factory at the same time too. Thank you very much for watching this interview clip over on TND Streams. To see the full interview, click on the video link next to my head or down below, or hit up the link to subscribe to the channel or see our Patreon page to support what we do and get some extra bonus monthly content in the process. Anthony Fantano, forever.